We are at the Republic of Vietnam Army's 3rd Corps Prisoner of War Camp at Benoit. We've come to Vietnam to make a filmed report on detainee prisoner of war operations as they're being conducted by Allied forces in 1968. The total film report will be in 2 parts. The first covering detainee operations from the point of capture to the point of transfer or disposition. The second will cover Republic of Vietnam Army administration of prisoner of war camps. Our visit has revealed that some deviations from current doctrine have been necessary here in Vietnam. However, the humane treatment and careful record-keeping activities required by the Geneva Conventions of 1949 are being fully applied. Although faced with many unique problems, Allied forces have developed an excellent program. The scenes that you're about to see depict that program as it is now.
War is upside down in Vietnam. The enemy is North Vietnamese, a professional soldier. The enemy is South Vietnamese, farmer by day, terrorist by night. The enemy is an old woman with a hand grenade under her skirt. The enemy is found in a village of loyal, or at least neutral, Vietnamese. In this complex situation, whether the capturing forces are U.S. or our Vietnamese allies, as in these films, the handling of detainees is a matter of the greatest sensitivity. Some detainees are caught fighting, some are caught hiding, but the innocent hide as well as the guilty. Innocent or guilty, all must be treated in a humane manner. The best reason for treating detainees with humanity is that it is the right thing to do. But there are other, more down-to-earth reasons for being fair as well as firm. First, decent treatment of detainees imposes a demand on the enemy that U.S. and Allied prisoners be treated the same way. Second, good treatment produces better intelligence. Third, as soon as an individual is under the control of Allied troops, he is considered a victim of war. Mistreatment of any such detainee is a criminal act against both military law and international law. Many times there is a temptation to hold up the medical care of a wounded detainee until interrogation can be completed. This must not be done. A wounded detainee must be treated without delay, and each detainee must be tagged to provide vital information concerning the circumstances of his capture. It is said in Vietnam that the clouds have eyes and the wind has ears. The enemy knows how detainees are treated. Any mistreatment is an invitation to the mistreatment of U.S. or Allied soldiers in enemy hands. Here, due to the non-availability of Vietnamese transport, the U.S. advisor calls in Dust-Off, a U.S. medical evacuation helicopter. Throughout Vietnam, all U.S. and other Allied forces follow the same procedure. Detainees are disarmed, searched, and carefully guarded. They are treated humanely and with the respect due them as human beings. They are protected from humiliation, degrading treatment, reprisals, and public curiosity. Personal property is scarce among detainees. When non-military personal property is found, wristwatches or other items, detainees must be given receipts. Blindfolding is a harmless, humane method of preventing escape and denying detainees the opportunity to acquire intelligence. In some instances, a tactical helicopter is used to move a seriously wounded detainee to a hospital when there isn't time to call in Dust-Off. Although wounded detainees are treated in a humane manner, it is still necessary to secure them. Consequently, several special medical facilities have been set up to provide medical care under guard. Military police man these facilities. The care and treatment provided is exactly the same as that provided to wounded U.S. or Allied soldiers.
Generally speaking, most of our patients arrive here scared stiff, since most of them believe they're going to be shot. Wounds are often severe. The majority of them suffer from multiple disease along with malnutrition and anemia, and most of them have acute manifestations of malaria. Because of the long delays between injury, capture, and the arrival at a medical facility, the biggest battle we have to face is fighting infection. An American soldier who's injured often reaches medical aid within an hour, but many of the wounded prisoners of war hide, and it may be days before they're found and brought to a hospital. Well, patients are amazed by the large amounts of medication they're given, and they are affected fantastically by our modern antibiotics. But the Vietnamese don't seem to heal as quickly as our own soldiers, and as a result, many of them require a lot of attention for a long time. But if we get them soon enough with modern medicine available, we're able to get them on the road to recovery. The medical care and facilities for a PW are the same as for GI or ARVN troops. This I know because I work with both GIs and PWs. Well, for the first few days after hospitalization, the Vietnamese prisoners, especially the North Vietnamese, are stubborn and difficult. I suppose they're trying to maintain their military bearing. But even though we can't communicate word for word, our actions speak for themselves. And in a few days, when they see they're not going to be mistreated, they get friendly and cooperative. And they quickly adapt to their new surroundings, familiarizing themselves with the equipment and routine. We don't have many disciplinary problems, and these are usually minor. The PWs seem to really enjoy American food. It's amazing to see how a glass of cold water, a bath, or a good meal can allay their fears and help them settle down.
The same medical records are kept for wounded detainees as for U.S. troops, plus a few additional items required by the Geneva Conventions. Many times, wounded detainees are evacuated to a medical facility before interrogation or classification can be accomplished. Military intelligence, therefore, completes interrogation reports. Early interrogation is of the greatest importance because in Vietnam, one of the most baffling problems is the separation of friend from foe. Some of the villagers rounded up here will be classified as innocent civilians and returned to their homes. Some will be classified as prisoners of war. And some will be classified as civil defendants, persons who, while they have not openly borne arms, have nevertheless committed a crime against the government. This group may include spies, saboteurs, or persons supplying the enemy with food, clothing, or other assistance. In this case, the village chief and other local officials are used to assist in the identification and classification of these detainees. In addition, national police and intelligence blacklists are being checked for the names of any of the individuals being questioned. It is not always possible for such an elaborate interrogation to take place at this level. However, the principles of early interrogation and early separation of friend from foe should be observed whenever it is possible to do so. A detailed personal history form is completed on every individual who is to be evacuated beyond the immediate point of capture. This requirement, which is necessary to meet the terms and spirit of the Geneva Convention, is most important. Precise and detailed record keeping from the point of capture onwards is mandatory. After tactical interrogation and initial screening, U.S. captured detainees are evacuated to a brigade collecting point. One unique aspect of the war in Vietnam is the operation of brigade collecting points on water in the Delta region. Detainees are usually in and out by helicopter, remaining at the brigade collecting point for only a few hours. They rarely spend the night, as there is seldom the space, the food, the clothing to accommodate them. Moreover, the Geneva Conventions require prompt evacuation from the combat area. The primary value of the brigade collecting point is that it provides another early opportunity to interrogate prisoners for combat intelligence, the so-called perishable intelligence, which may be of immediate tactical use to the brigade. This interview also affords another early opportunity to screen out innocent civilians and get them quickly back to their homes. A brigade collecting point may be found almost anywhere in Vietnam, from this mobile unit, afloat on a barge, to more traditional semi-permanent land-based camps.